Well, folks, New York Mayor Eric Adams not too happy that former Governor Andrew Cuomo is staying in the mayoral race. Now, remember, there's a lot of talk that Cuomo was going to drop out after he lost in the primary to Zohran Mamdani. Well, guess what? He was still on the ticket on another group's line. And so he had today made it official that I ain't going nowhere. Let's just say Eric Adams is not taking it so well, saying that he went against his word about dropping out. A lot of people want Cuomo to drop out, to solidify support around Adams, to stop Mamdani. I think all of this is absolutely hilarious, Raven, because, like, really? Y'all scare that man so much? And here's the deal. They're trying, oh, it's socialist, he's communist. He just actually ran a better campaign.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I think, Roland, you're spot on. We have a huge problem in the Democratic Party of people not knowing when to sit it down. Let someone else step into leadership that is feeling more resonant with constituents in this moment. That is a huge problem. It's why we had 3 members of Congress, Democratic members of Congress, pass away while in office. Open your hand and let it go. I think in this moment, I'm really thinking about other, like my friends who are running for office, right? Deja Fox, Kat, who's running in the 6th district here in Illinois. I'm thinking of Isaiah Martin. Like, it is so paramount that this space be created for new leadership, new voices, and certainly when the folks who are incumbent have not been serving their constituents in the way that they should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing in the army that go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I said, just to echo what Ray said, I think we've seen this so many times where we have these legacy leaders and we know why they're there, right? Seniority is how the body works, or typically works in many cases, whether in the state or federal level. But these folks stay and stay and stay. And the longer it seems that they stay, the more out of touch that they get. And not on every issue and not on everything. And it's not to suggest that there is nothing to offer here, but clearly in the case of New York, right? Not only did Mamdani run a better campaign, but he was speaking to New Yorkers about the things that actually matter to them. They don't want just to fight against rats. People need somewhere to live. People are being displaced all around that city. And he actually had a message that people want to hear. So whether you can call him a socialist or not, that's not a dirty word. We treat it like it is. It's not. What he's saying is what the people of New York want to hear right now. And all that Adams and Cuomo care about is power. And so they're going to probably end up splitting the vote. And that's why Eric Adams is upset, not because he thinks it's time for him to step aside or he has a better message.
Well, I guess for me, I just sort of laugh at all of this. And I see the people being, really upset and all sort of stuff. Like, here's a perfect example. This was a video. First of all, let's do this here, okay? So give me 1 second. So Cuomo, I'm going to play a couple of videos, so give me 1 second. So Cuomo dropped a video explaining why he was staying in the race. And so let me go ahead and just play this right now and get your thoughts on it. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Andrew. And unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know that the Democratic primary did not go the way I had hoped. To the 440,000 New Yorkers who voted for me, a sincere thank you. Thank you for believing in me, in my agenda, and in my experience. And I am truly sorry that I let you down. But as my grandfather used to say, when you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up and get in the game. And that is what I'm going to do. The fight to save our city isn't over. Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions. We need a city with lower rent, safer streets, where buying your first home is once again possible, where childcare won't bankrupt you. That's the New York City we know. That's the one that is still possible. You haven't given up on it. And you deserve a mayor with the experience and ideas to make it happen again. And the guts to take on anyone who stands in the way. Every day I'm going to be hitting the streets, meeting you where you are, to hear the good and the bad, problems and solutions. because for the next few months, it's my responsibility to earn your vote. So let's do this. I'll see you out there.
All right, so that was Cuomo laying out the case, and of course,
on primary night,
had no problem speaking on this issue as well. So here's what he had to say.
I welcome everyone to this race, and I am as confident as I have been since 3 weeks ago on primary night, when we faced Andrew Cuomo then, and won that race by more than 12 points, with the most votes of any Democratic nominee in New York City primary history. And we did so because of the fact that while Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams trip over themselves to make deals in back rooms with billionaires, we are focused on fighting for working New Yorkers. I think he's struggling to come to terms with what Tuesday meant. We spent an entire campaign being told that it was inevitable for Andrew Cuomo to become the next mayor. And he believed that himself. And what we saw was New Yorkers' hunger for a new kind of politics. A politics focused on working people. A politics where far more New Yorkers than before could see themselves in it, in those same policies. And I understand that it is difficult for the former governor to come to terms with that, because it is a repudiation of the politics that he has practiced, that he has known for so many years. And it is that same politics that we are turning the page on.
So
I welcome everyone
that's what he
to
laid
this
out.
race.
I don't get it. Give me 1 second. I love these people who are mad, upset. But here's the piece, and I keep going back to this, Raven. I constantly go back to this. Voters vote. You can stand here and say, I'm the best, oh, Mamdani doesn't get specifics, but they actually voted. They voted. And I think all the people who are attacking him, they're calling him anti-Semitic, anti-Israel. Oh, my God, he's a socialist. He's a communist. They can throw all those phrases out, but they still have to get over the hump. The people voted. You have to now ask, why did more of them vote for him than Cuomo and the other candidates? That's what you got to be focusing on if you're Adams and Cuomo for the general.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's absolutely right. I mean, the people have spoken and they want Mamdani. You know, I think it's really important to underline here, too, that a lot of the accusations of anti-Semitism are tied to his critiques of Israel. I know this has been said ad nauseum, but as a Black and Jewish person who feels very strongly about this, I feel the need to reiterate it is not anti-Semitic to critique Israel. Okay. If that's the case, then a lot of Jewish people are anti-Semitic. And I know the folks that I'm in coalition with, that I'm thinking through with, that I'm imagining freedom with as it pertains to what's happening in the Middle East are not. And I think a lot of those claims are unfair, frankly. And that anti-Semitism has become this tool, this weapon that gets wielded so casually to the point that it's become emptied out of meaning, which is actually very dangerous because anti-Semitism is a real issue and is a real struggle that is fundamentally intersectional, which I say to you as I sit here as a Black, Jewish, and queer woman, right, who is impacted by all these modalities of subjugation simultaneously. So I think that's important to name first and foremost. And I think what's so attractive about him as a candidate to constituents in New York is that what he's really offering us is a working class consciousness, right? That is the invitation. That is the opening. And that is what we have so desperately needed in the Democratic Party for a minute now. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of folks who are Democratic, who are in these positions of power, who are bending the knee to billionaire interests. We're not immune to that. We talk about it a lot as it pertains to the right, but that doesn't mean it's exclusive to them by any means. And so someone who stands on business, who is fighting for the working class, who is actively and sincerely building multiracial coalitions, that's not only attractive to voters, it's more important and paramount than ever before as we are experiencing the rise of fascism in this country.
Well, and it's just laughable when you look at MAGA and their responses to all of this, Omekongo. because you're just playing into his hands. And also this idea that somehow he represents all Democrats in America, that's stupid.
Yeah, it really is. And that's what they do well. But I repeat, that is what Republicans do well. Their marketing strategy, they stay on message. They stay on message and they stick with it. A lot of the name calling we see as relates to Mamdani, we saw with Obama because he was Barack Hussein Obama, run down the list. They already have the narratives, going out there about him. What I also find interesting is that we talked about Democrats earlier. I've seen Democrats slow in New York and at the national level to come around and embrace him, besides the obvious Bernies and AOCs and the like. Hakeem Jeffrey said he's looking forward to meeting him. But other people in New York, like Tom Suozzi, are like, hey, he's a Democratic socialist, but I'm a Democratic capitalist. And Richie Torres as well, talking about, I'm ready to coexist with him if I need to. So it's like they're not even coalescing around him right now. And that is a real problem. Look, it is obvious that having Eric Adams and Cuomo in there, it has potential to splinter a lot of things. But like Cuomo said, there's a lot of people who didn't come out. And there's now that people have, Mamdani has their attention, it can be a little bit different. The last part I would say is that people go into all of this socialist talk, and of course he defines himself as a democratic socialist. But when you hear Cuomo talking, he's talking about things that we could call socialists in that ad. Affordability, people being able to live in a nice home, be able to afford daycare. Sounds a lot like Mamdani's policies to me. So these guys want to just argue over terminology, but if they don't embrace some of the policies that he's talking about, I can't see how either of them are going to beat him.
Also, I think stuff like this helps him as well. Listen to this.
It was, representative. We got them all. Yeah, please. Behind you, please. No, you.
Oh, me? So this is for the Prime Minister. The likely next mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, Democratic socialist, the vocal critic of Israel and of yourself, and has said he would arrest you if you came to New York City if he was mayor. Is that something you take seriously, or are you concerned about that? Do you have a response to that?
No, I'm not concerned about that.
I'll get him out.
Look, there's enough craziness in the world, but I guess it never ends. I mean, you have this is folly, and it's it's silly in many ways because it's just not serious. But what is serious is the question I was asked before. After October 7th, people said the Palestinians had a state, Hamas state in Gaza, and look what they did with it. They didn't build it up; they built down into bunkers, into terror tunnels. After which they massacred our people, raped our women, beheaded our men, invaded our cities and our towns and our kibbutzim, and did horrendous massacres, the kind of which we didn't see since World War II and the Nazis.
Listen, I see him as saying, all right, I'm gonna give as good as I can get. Like, you'll give it to me, I'm gonna give it back. That's how I see it. Niambi?
But I think this is, again, what people are so turned off by and why a Mamdani comes to the fore and is attractive. Because people are sick of this sort of lack of nuance. Because while we can talk about October 7th and that it was horrendous, the response to October 7th has been, I think, by most charitable definitions, outsized and inhumane, downright inhumane. And so I think this sort of sitting here as if this is about the state of Israel and about Jewish people is insincere, and it skirts the larger issue around Palestinian people's humanity that has been at the core of this whole time. And while some communities might take heart in the folks sitting around that table decrying anti-Semitism, remember, these are the same people that cozied up to folks a few years ago in Charlottesville who said Jews will not replace us. These are the very same people who you think are going to defend Jewish people. This has been a political tool, both by Benjamin Netanyahu and by this administration. Unfortunately, I think, again, the Democrats didn't have a strong enough message here. And that is part of the reason why they lost. And yet you saw Donald Trump and those folks around that table mentioning nothing about the human rights of the Palestinian people, sort of mentioning nothing about the fact that you have children starving, that you've had aid workers and journalists who are just trying to provide assistance and cover this tragedy being murdered. Nothing mentioned there. So this is, I think, at par for the course, and why this politics is probably going to inspire more folks like Mamdani and others around this country, because people are sick of this.
Well, they are, and so we'll see what happens. So Cuomo saying he's staying in. Adams is like, oh my God, how dare you? Adams is scared he's going to lose. As you said it, Nyambe, they think that those two are going to split the vote, and then we'll see what happens. So,
hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.